And welcome back to the Texas State only challenge here on Madden 23. And we have to fix this defense. We're at 3-3, about midway, at the point of this season. The AFC South is extremely tight, with the top team being the Colts, who are 4-2. We're 3-3, so we're not too far off, but there's changes that have to be made if we're to see our defense improve and give our offense, led by a rookie quarterback, a shot at leading us to the playoffs, which would be the first time we would have done that this season. So starting off with, let's talk about the next draft class. Now, obviously, the draft class isn't going to help us immediately, but what it does do is give us an idea of what of our current picks we could use to make trades. And as we jump through this, we're going to see there is really not a lot of potential in this draft class. Throughout all the skill players on offense, not a single draftable player until we get to the offensive line, where we do have some day 3 talent. And at left guard, there is Kenny Hardison, who looks like he might be pretty solid. But the offensive line isn't necessarily a spot we need to go after. We've gone after offensive linemen in each of the draft classes we've had so far. Plus, we started with a pretty decent offensive line. They're not the best, but they're pretty decent. Throughout the rest of them, some more day 3s. Defense is where we're struggling right now. The pass rush has been awful. We haven't been able to get back there consistently, and it's getting our DBs burned. And this draft class has one draftable player. And that is Alex Garfield out of Texas Tech, who's 6'5", 298, and he looks like he could be fairly solid with all the abilities you really look for, with the defensive line being at least possibly a B. Block shedding is B to a D. That could be C or a D. But the finesse and power moves are Bs, and with him labeled as a run stopper, I would imagine it's a B. So he looks like he could be really solid. But is he going to come in and make an immediate impact? Hard to say. Past him, we had some linebackers that showed promise with Rashawn Jowers and James Feldman, but neither can cover. The best possible rating would be James Feldman, with zone coverage being at best a C. And that's really not going to help us out much. There is a right outside linebacker, Frank Poole, who does have that A zone coverage. But as an outside linebacker, that A could mean 60. So it's really not helpful whatsoever. Been burned at the outside linebacker spot so many times trying to go after cover guys. Now, one guy who looks like he could possibly be really good is the cornerback Trey Blaylock. Round 1 projection with C zone coverage, B to D press, A to C man, listed as a man-to-man guy. I would imagine that's at least a B for man coverage. Could very well be an A. But we are 4 deep currently at the cornerback spot. It is not a need for us. Safety, nothing at all. And I think there's maybe a punter. Yeah, that's not draftable, but no punters are. So this draft class is extremely poor. Maybe at best 3 players that can make a difference. And even then, maybe not. So that tells me we could use any of our draft picks to make any trades we think that we need to. And as I mentioned, defensive line is one of what I feel at least is our biggest need. And the best player we could possibly go after, because as we talked about it at the end of last episode, Myles Garrett is injured. We cannot trade for him, unfortunately. So the next best player, who actually is really good, he's a top 10 left end, would be John Franklin-Meyers. He is 27 years old, is a superstar dev at 87 overall, and his ratings look really good. I do wish he had a little bit more speed, being a 79, 83 acceleration. He's not going to be a burner around the edge, but he's well-rounded. 90 awareness, 85 play rec, so he's a smart guy with 90 strength, has 81 block shedding, 91 finesse moves, and 80 power moves. He could do it all. And I think he would be the best guy for us to bring in, and we could use any player on the roster to trade for him, as well as any of our draft picks. If we look at the get offers, they would be interested in a first-round pick, which would be the 4th overall, at least currently slated, and a 6th-round pick. Or they're interested in Randy Lennon and Michael Clemens. Now, I don't want to trade away Lennon, but we do have Kohu, who's our 4th-string corner, and I think is maybe 1 or 2 overall less. I'm interested to see if they're interested in taking him. And surprisingly, they put a red flag on Kohu. They're still interested in Clemens, but we'll see. We'll submit it. We'll see if they're interested in it. And they're really not. So they really wanted Lennon, who I will say is a few years younger. And I do want to point out the draft picks they were looking for were future draft picks, a future 1 and a future 6. So what if we offer a current 2 and Clemens? I feel like that would possibly be about even with a future 1. Probably not really, but it moves it up about halfway. If we go with just our first round pick, which is currently slated 12th overall, again, no one really in the first rounds we're looking for, and that'll just be an outright trade. So we bring in Franklin-Meyers, who will be our best defensive lineman. All we had to give up was a first round pick, and there really wasn't anyone we wanted to go after with that pick. Now, our linebacker group has been a consistent need for us throughout this series, trying to improve in the coverage while not dropping off in the run stopping game. Unfortunately, we have the best cover guys at all 3 linebacker spots, whether it's left or right outside or middle. We have the best available, so there's no one really to bring in at linebacker, unfortunately. If we really felt like we needed to boost the offensive side of the ball a little bit more, there is Christian Kirk, who we could trade for, who is the second best receiver from a school from Texas. I just don't feel like we really need that help right now. If anything, possibly offensive line. But we do already have the best left tackle in Jake Matthews. There is Eric McCoy, who was on the team previously but did not want to come back in free agency. I feel like we filled that spot pretty well though, so I don't feel like we need to go after him. We also have the best available center in Connor Williams, and the best available right guard in Terrence Steele. Now, there would be a slight upgrade at right tackle if we brought in Sam Cosmi, and he just doesn't look fantastic. I mean, some mid-70s in the pass blocking ratings. Seems to be a pretty decent run blocker, but I just don't feel like it would really be that big of an upgrade. And I basically am showing this in the video to show we have basically the best offensive line we could possibly have. And in terms of running back, past Aaron Jones, who we traded away, we have the best next guy with Isaiah Spiller. So really just across the board, we pretty much have the best possible guys. There is a receiver we could try to go after. I don't really think we need to. So this team, as it stands, is pretty much as good as it could possibly be. And at left end, to make room for John Franklin-Meyers, I did say he'd be our highest overall defensive lineman. He's technically tied with Ed Oliver, but the stats, or the ratings, they're just not even close. I mean, just look at the difference here. Up 8 for awareness. Play rec, about the same. Now, he does have less power moves, but almost 20 better finesse moves. Block shedding stays the same, has better tackling, so across the board, John Franklin-Meyers is the better player. What we're going to do with Oliver, though, as actually Myers is the larger guy, but we're going to move Ed Oliver down to the defensive tackle spot permanently. Now, he has been playing a rush DT role already this year. This would just make it more permanent even in the base packages. He does go down to an 86 overall, and we do have quite a few of guys on here that I really don't think we need. So we do need to make room. We have one too many guys on roster, and I feel like it might end up being Broderick Washington that we let go. He is the second oldest defensive tackle, and there's some other guys that I kind of like the ratings for a little bit more. That does, however, mean we would take on a pretty big penalty, so we could see if anyone's interested in trading for him. And if we go through the offers, it looks like everyone is offering players, which is unfortunate because you can't really check to see if they're Texas players from this menu. So it looks like we'll have to make our own custom trade. And I think the best spot for him to land would be with the Chiefs. They have Vita Vea, so he's not going to be their number one guy, but they only have two options, and the second guy is a 67 overall. He does look like he's a rookie, but still I think they would want another guy there, and I'm not going to ask for much. So will they give us a current 5th round pick? Yes, I think that's solid. So with roster moves now made, hopefully that's going to bring a big impact to the defense, and we'll be testing it out here against the Green Bay Packers. They're 2-5. They do have Jair Alexander, though, so this is a game I feel like we need to get a win. We might not watch a whole lot of this game, because again, we need to get through about week 13 if we're doing well. If we're not doing well still, we'll be wrapping out this season in this episode as per usual. If we're not doing well in a season, we'll get through it in 2 episodes. That's just the format. So let's jump into this game against the Packers, and we better dominate. And we will be testing this new defensive line against our former quarterback in Ryan Tannehill. He will drop back for a pass play 1 and no pass rush. So not the best first impression, but a pretty quick tackle, only a gain of 2. And I doubt we're playing top tier offensive linemen every week. So hopefully they'll get a groove going here. 2nd and 8 will be a handoff down the middle. There's a quick stop. Number 91, that is Ed Oliver, getting first game officially as the DT. He has been playing that rush DT spot, so he had practice with that spot throughout a good bit of the preseason. Will be a run right down the middle here, and will break the tackle of Poona Ford, but won't get by Ed Oliver. Stop on the first possession. Good job, defense. Now, will the offense fare in the same way and put together a solid first go? Looks like we're going to make an audible here. Will be a run down the middle, finding some room. Spiller will be about a gain of 5. And we'll follow that up with some more shotgun. Had trips to the bottom, going to go all the way up top on the drag. Mike Evans turns up, breaks a tackle. Be about a gain of 8 with a first down up to the 43. And we've seen some very hit or miss games from Townsend already this season. Has put together some fantastic games and some very poor games. As we do swing that one out, Spiller will be there for about a gain of 2. And I did decide we will continue to start Spiller. We tried to give Jeff Wilson a little bit of a go, but he is higher up in age. I want to say 27, 28. Spiller's 23 with a slightly higher overall, so we're going to feed the young guy. We also want to see if we could get Ali out there a little bit as the season continues. 3rd and 1, we'll drop back with a quick pass. Going to go Mike Evans, another first down grab for him. Starting off with some pretty simple passes here for Townsend, get him warmed up. 4 for 4 on the day, so a good start. Will be a draw. Spiller trying to find some room. Chose the wrong side of that block. So after a 3-yard loss, we'll come out with an empty set. 2 receivers stack up top, trips down to the bottom. Townsend in the pocket takes a snap. Has pretty good blocking. Will go all the way towards the top. Finds Evans again. Well, at least half the yardage what we need to get for the first down, bringing up 3rd and 8. It looks like the rookie tight end close to the line up top. Trips to the bottom. Townsend with a quick throw underneath. Caught. No. Mike Evans can't hold on to it. I believe that was knocked out by Jair Alexander. Indeed it was. So we'll send out the field goal unit here to take an early lead. Justin Tucker from the 31. Make it a 41-yarder. Snap is back. Hold down. Kick is up. And so are we. Taking a 3-point lead. And we'll jump into some quicker sim here. See if we could get another stop here with our defense. Omenahu getting a sack, 2nd drive. I gave him a challenge as he gets 2 back-to-back. Was trying to say I gave him a challenge this week. I wanted 5 sacks. We already have 2, so we're doing pretty well. Campbell knocks the ball away, 2nd and 10. A throwaway, 3rd and 10. We get 14 to Duvernay, keeping the drive alive here as we get closer to midfield. Now passing midfield. Another catch by Duvernay. Find the rookie tight end in Sampson. And a sack by Bradley Chubb, not helping us out very much whatsoever as we start the 2nd quarter with 2nd and very long, make that 3rd and very long. We'll get 12 at the 30, 4th and 6. I'll let us go ahead and kick the extra or field goal here. Justin Tucker hits. Was considering possibly going for it there, just didn't feel like it was the right time yet. A first down, I believe, or maybe 2nd first down. Make it 3rd with Deebo Samuel as they cross midfield. Another 11-yard catch goes to their tight end. Tannehill throws away. Another throwaway, 3rd and 10. A sack by John Franklin-Meyers in his first game. We already have 3 sacks in the first half. That's more than what we've seen in the last, 4 games. So it does look like we will force no, they go with a kick, field goal, and they miss. So we take over in pretty good field position. 6 yards for Spiller. If we get into the red zone, we'll definitely watch. 1st and 10, 3 more yards Spiller. Inside the 37, makes it 3rd and inches. And we don't hit. I want us to go for it for sure here. Now they do have big boy Derek Brown in the middle. But that's where we're headed. With the best guys we have, Ali checks in, and we'll squeeze out that first down, putting us pretty much in red zone territory. So let's finish the drive off here in the broadcast view. Under center, Townsend goes. 2 receivers to the bottom, 1 up top. Single back set. Spiller gets the handoff. And a really good job from number 38. We'll get the quick stop, only a gain of 2. Now a 2 tight end look. Stacked to the top of the line. 1 receiver either side. Will be a stretch towards the top, and not great blocking on the outside. Spiller might lose those 2 yards. That should be just a loss of 1. So 3rd and 9, we'll drop back to shotgun. 2 receivers to the bottom. 1 of the tight ends up top. Actually, it might be 3 receivers to the bottom. Townsend waiting in the pocket will go underneath. Eric with a first down catch and run down to the 4. Now, surprisingly, for how low of an overall he was starting, he's played really well out there. Better than some higher overall receivers I've had, as Townsend sitting at the 4, pressure bearing down, and yep, there's Derek Brown with the sack. So with 2 minutes left, we sit at the 12 for 2nd and goal. 2 receivers up top, 1 to the bottom. Sitting in the pistol set, Townsend goes deep to the outside, and there's a catch for the touchdown. Gonna be Mike Evans over the top of the corner at the very back of the end zone. They might look for a review, but as it stands, that's 6 more points. And no review comes in, so we'll see what Tannehill can do here. 2-minute offense. He'll rush for 4 yards. And a penalty on Elijah Wilkinson will back him up. 3rd and 11. Penalty on Poona Ford. That's probably a face mask, I'm assuming. Maybe roughing the passer. Deebo Samuel, big chunk down to the 27. Do they get inside the red zone? They get down to about the 1. And I'm assuming touchdown. Yep, Deebo Samuel caps it off. So with 58 seconds left, roughly. We'll see they just go with the extra point. Kickoff, where does that put us? It's a touchback of 56 seconds. I want to run this drive with the offense. Obviously, I let the team sim most of it. But when it gets to situations where we definitely need to control the clock, I do not trust the CPU to do so, and just off target there to Cousins. So we'll switch things up a little bit. We'll go with trips to the left, 1 to the right. Eric covered by Jair Alexander, so not really looking to go that way. Sampson deep down the seam. He'll get the grab. Does he have the space? Does he have the speed? Trying to angle away from the corner in hot pursuit, but it will catch us. But we're down to the 2. We'll call the timeout, catch our breath, and send out the power group. Now it's time to let the big boys shine here. Stack them up, try to power through, and Ali down to about the 1. We'll let the clock continue to run. We'll just go right back to it. Had a pretty decent push the previous play. We had pretty good blocking there, and tripping into the end zone goes Ali. Will help get us that 2-score lead back. 21 seconds left before half. Solid. Now we'll just need the defense to hold that lead as we get on through halftime here. Kicking, Justin Tucker backs them up to the 25. They get an 8-yard rush, sending us through halftime. No, they're still trying to go for something here. Not really working. 2nd and 10. Pass knocked away by Kader Kohu, and that was the last play of the first half. So we'll start the second half with a continued sim here. We will be starting with the ball. Isaiah Spiller gain of 3. 9 yards to Sampson. He's really integrated well with the offense. I just feel like we have too many throwaways, as another penalty drops this time on Jonathan Grenard, 15 yards. I'm assuming a roughing the passer, similar situation to Poona Ford. 10-yard catch here by Duvernay, but not enough for the first. It's fine. Spiller comes through. We get down to the 30, down to the 22 with Mike Evans. 2nd and 2, throwaway. 3rd and 2. Isaiah converts, gets us inside the red zone. So let's finish off watching this drive. Trying to grab a 3-score lead, currently up 20-7, about halfway through the 3rd quarter. Hard count, no one jumps. Townsend, sitting in the pocket, will dump off, and that's a pretty quick tackle. Spiller maybe lost of a half a yard, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. And now we'll shake it up a little bit, coming out with a weak I formation. 1 receiver either side. Will be a dive down the middle. Spiller breaks first tackler, and not much else after, plus a flag is down. And that would be holding on our tight end Sampson, making it 2nd and 20. So quite a big distance here, down at the 29. With a stretch to the top. Need to cut that in. Nope. We maybe get about a yard. So 3rd and long. We come out with a pistol look. 2 receivers to the bottom. 1 up top is Mike Evans. Hard count, no one jumps. Townsend sitting in the pocket. Pretty nice blocking. We'll dump it off to Spiller, who does break a tackle, but won't get by the second guy. 4th and 7. I'm fine with a field goal here. So we'll send out Justin Tucker for his 3rd attempt, I believe, of the day. From about the 23 or 33-yarder, right down the middle. Now, it's been a hot minute since we had a sack. Do have 3 on the day, though. But again, the goal is 5. 3rd and 4. Marquise Brown converts with a lot of extra yards. Montgomery gets 3. 2nd and 7. 4 yards, setting up 3rd and 3. A penalty on Ed Oliver. 5-yard penalty. I guess he jumps off sides. 16 more yards. Marquise Brown gets him to the 20. 6 yards into the red zone for sure. So let's see what the defense can do here. Can they stand tall, keep Tannehill and his offense out of the end zone? Bunch to the bottom, 1 up top. We come out with a double A gap blitz, and they pick it up really well, but there is a sack. John Franklin-Meyers, 2 on debut. And that also will send us into the 4th quarter, where we're up pretty nicely here, but still, I want this to be more. Let's keep the pressure up. And it looks like we're going to do that. With a double A gap look here, we'll see if we bring the blitz. No, we do drop out of it, but we do bring a delayed corner blitz, which leaves a wide open Deebo Samuel for the touchdown. And on top of it, they're trying to go for 2 to make it a 1-score game. 2 receivers either side. Tannehill will hand this one off down the middle, and no one was there. It's now a 1-score game. All right, offense. We need a touchdown drive here. Isaiah Spiller starts us off with 7 knockaway by Josiah Scott, and then a throwaway. Well, that is not helping at all. 3 and out. Packers get the ball back. Really good punt. They're back inside, or we're back inside the 10. Penalty puts them back inside the 10. 2nd and 11. They get 5. 3rd and 6. Come on, defense. It's 27 yards. 1st down towards the 40. Now past the 40 with a 7-yard run by Montgomery. He then loses 2. 3rd and 5, defense. Let's Deebo convert again. 1st and 10 in plus territory. Hunter Renfrow gets him inside the 30. No, not inside the 35. They'll lose 2. Throw away. Another 3rd and 12, or another 3rd down. They do get the stop that time. Kick the field goal. It's good. That means we're sitting at a 5-point game. So let's watch this drive here. This is a big drive. We can ice the game away here with a touchdown. A field goal still leaves it a 1-score game that would tie if they would get the 2-point conversion. Duvernay can't get his feet in bounds. So 2nd and 10, we stop the clock, which is not what we're looking to do. Twins either side here. Will be a handoff down the middle. Has the lead blocker. Spiller will get by the first guy, not the second group, but does manage a 3rd and half a yard. And it will be a shotgun look. 2 to the bottom, 1 up top. I'll also have the tight end up top. It will be a run down the middle. Will convert Spiller. I will say he does fight through the first contact, at least as best as he can. Well, let's just let this clock drain. I wish we were actually chewing the clock. Doesn't look like we are. But a triple tight end set. 1 in motion towards the top is Blackwell. Look for a stretch possibly. No, just right down the middle to the weak side. Solid gain, about 5 yards. And not an awful day running for Spiller. 14 carries, 50 yards. I've seen much worse, including in the last episode. 2nd and 4, right down the middle. I mean, just perfect blocking. Absolutely beautiful. But we do have an injured offensive lineman. So we will bring out one of the backup interior guys, as Steele, I want to say, was one of our guards. Left guard, I believe. So a backup checks in. We hold up pretty well in pass coverage there. We find Eric Ezukanma for the 1st down inside the 30. I feel like just time and time again, Eric comes up big, especially on 3rd downs. An empty look here, 2 stacked to the top, 3 down to the bottom. Townsend in the pocket. Get the snap. They bring an extra guy. We pick it up really well. Cross the middle, Sampson. 1st down inside the 15. And we hit the 2-minute warning. A touchdown here. And I say game. You never quite know, but it would be hard to come back from that would be a 12-point deficit under 2 minutes. At least in the NFL. The XFL, you never know. A run down the middle, gain of 3. Timeout starting to be called by the Packers. And it looks like we're going to be running heavy here for at least the rest of the time. I would assume 2nd and 7 will be an interesting run here by Spiller. He had a lot more space in the middle. He steps on about 20 different guys, and a flag comes down. And yet another holding call, making it 2nd and long. This time, 1 minute 50 seconds left on the clock. We'll go with a run, cut towards the top. He kind of does, just a little bit delayed, but a much better run that time. We'll make it a more manageable 3rd down after this timeout. So 3rd and 10 at the 14. We need to get just inside the 4 for the 1st down, or a touchdown here would also work. And that's where we go, to the top. And is that Eric Ezukanma? You know it is. Always comes through on 3rd down. Maybe that's why he wears number 3. Up 30-18 as Debo will get about 30 himself. Defense, come on, just make this game a little bit easier here for us. Tannehill gets a gain of 3, 11 more yards. Jonnu Smith, about a minute, or not a minute, about half a 3 sacks for John Franklin-Meyers in debut. I would say so far trade working out pretty well. 17-yard gets him a 1st down, less than 20 seconds left on the clock. 15 seconds, 2nd and goal, touchdown Debo Samuel. I would imagine they go for 2. No, they just get the extra point. Okay, well, they're still down 5 points. They don't recover the onside. That is game. So, not the big game we were looking for. We only get a margin of 5 victory, 30-25. But what we do see is a great debut for John Franklin-Meyers. We lead in basically all categories besides average yards a play. No teams had any turnovers, but I'm pretty sure we had 6 sacks in that game, which is, I think, more than we had going into this game. But the same problem we always have continues, where we have a win in the first episode, and we follow it with 2 straight losses, neither of which were very good games. We at least scored a lot more in the 2nd game, but we gave up 42 points against the Jets, losing 42-35. At least it was a 1-score game, which is better to say than what we had against the Patriots, 27-9. We'll take a quick look at the stats of these games just to try to see what is happening with this team. And first off, I see with Davis Mills, we allowed 3 touchdowns. Did not pick him off. He had 231 passing yards. We had 230, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. We were sacked twice. We only got 1 sack. And completion percentage for both teams less than 60. We also allowed Nick Chubb to run 5 yards a carry, 110 yards, 22 carries. Meanwhile, Isaiah Spiller, okay game, 33 yards on 11 carries. In the receiving game, solid day here for Devin Duvernay. 1 touchdown on 7 grabs for 80 yards. Samson, pretty close there with 77 yards. Then a pretty steep drop-off for Mike Evans. Only 38, 19 for Spiller, 16 for Gray, and don't know why Eric Ezukanma didn't have any catches. And did I say Ezukanma? I always miss it up. Ezukanma. Only 1 sack given up. At least it shows on here, but I'm pretty sure we were sacked twice, so maybe we just had a free rusher. JT Woods led us in tackles with 9. We had a fair few amount of tackles for loss, 2 for Christian Drummond, 2 for Ed Oliver, and then 1 for Wilson and Clemens. And Clemens was the only one that got a sack for us in this game. And it looks like it was a comeback for us later in the game that got us closer to the Jets in this loss. Lamar Jackson threw under 300 yards, but 4 touchdowns. Townsend a little over 300, 3 touchdowns, but did throw a pick. Neither team had a sack. And we were pretty decent in completion percentage, 68, but we allowed Lamar Jackson to basically play pitch and catch out there. And again, allowed pretty good average for the rushing game, 4.2 yards a carry and a touchdown for Deontay Winters. Spiller, pretty solid game, 12 carries, 51 yards, 4.3 yards a carry. And Mitchell Townsend ran the ball in for a touchdown, as well as Jeff Wilson. Duvernay had a really big game, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ezukanma back in this game. Again, don't know why he wasn't really playing much, at least from what it looked like in the last game. 59 yards and a touchdown. 40 for Evans, 32 for Samson. Only 10 yards on 3 catches for Spiller is not very great. Obviously, we lost this game, so it is what it is. But I am noticing that we're not seeing a whole lot of sacks here for Rashawn Ellison, which is good. Daniel Mathis led us with 10 tackles. Again, had a fair few amount of tackles for loss. 3 for Ed Oliver, 1 for Drummond, Franklin-Meyers, Lennon, and Menahu. but not a single sack. And we just can't have games where we're not getting sacks. And somehow we didn't get into a single field goal range. One time. Not even one attempt in this game. So we now sit at 4-5. We're still third in the division. The Colts look like they're starting to run away with it. We are 3 games back. If we take a look at just the AFC standings in general, we are still towards the bottom. So if we don't see a quick turnaround, the season isn't going anywhere. So against the Tennessee Titans, we'll take a look. We'll watch some of this game. It's a game we have to see a win. And if there's any chance of us turning the season around, we need a win in this game. And then we'll get through a couple more games in a sim. And if we're not seeing wins, then we'll probably finish out the season in this episode. And we will start this game on defense. Again, needing to see some big plays. That first game, 6 sacks. Since then, 1, I think, at best. So not great. Good stop on first down there. As they'll come out with another heavy look with a stretch down to the bottom. Josh Jacobs, the running back, will get about 3-4 yards. We also, in that previous game, in the Jets game, I think it was, had a chance for Drummond to see a dev boost. Fortunately, he didn't get it. So just all around, we've really been struggling. 13 here gets the catch and the first. And that would be Keenan Allen. Gets the gain of 11. There's another heavy set. Trips up to the, or not trips, 3 tight ends up to the top. As they're going to motion over one of them towards the bottom here. Look for the weak dive. That's at least what we ran in the last episode. And what they run here, cuts towards the top. Be about a gain of 5-6 yards. And obviously we took a look at the draft class earlier in this episode. Wasn't looking great. Doesn't look like there's a lot of key impact talent in that class. There's not a lot of key impact talent just overall left for us to try to go after. We did see Christian Kirk. Perhaps we need another upgrade at the receiving group, although it seems to do mostly well while we watch. Another first down grab here for Allen. I feel like across the board, though, we have a lot of really good talent. We're just not seeing a lot of consistent play. As it will be a draw down the middle here with plenty of running room as the backup checks in, but a flag is thrown. Now we'll end up backing them up. Thank you. That was on Titus Howard, so appreciate it. 2nd and 20, back across the midfield. They'll go the stretch to the bottom here, and we had a guy there, but we don't get the tackle. I want to say 22 is the free safety, JT Woods. So at least slowed him down. Ed Oliver cleans it up, and we get a loss of 1. So in all, that was a good play. 2nd and 11, we bring a blitz, and Drummond will get the sack. Looked like we should have got that a little bit quicker, but I'm not going to complain because we did finally get that sack. Just need to see it a lot more consistently. 3rd and 28. They have 3 up top. They're tied into the bottom. Goes on a drag route, and that's where they go. Drummond with a quick stop, and they'll have to punt. That drive worked just fine. And following a terrific punt, offense starts back at our own 3. So we have a lot of yardage to cover here on drive 1. Great play there from Spiller in the backfield. Breaks a tackle. He'll get 4 out of it. I feel like he's definitely played a better set of games this episode rather than last episode. So that's a nice turn, I guess you could say. Down the middle here, though, maybe squeezes out a yard. Granted, we are playing against a linebacker group that includes Fred Warner, a defensive end group that includes Daniil Hunter. So they definitely have some dudes. As we go with a quick throw to the top, Sampson stretches, and he converts. We'll keep our drive alive here, as that was Quandre Diggs who got the stop. Former member of this squad, did not want to come back. 1st and 10, throw across, and dropped by Mike Evans. I believe that was Fred Warner in coverage, and really, really good coverage. 2nd and 10, back in shotgun, trips down to the bottom. Will be another pass. Townsend sitting in the pocket, really good blocking. Someone's got to get open. Eventually, we'll chuck this thing deep. It's wobbly and dropped. Intended for Duvernay. Quandre Diggs breaks it up. 3rd and 10. 2 to the bottom, 1 up top is Mike Evans. Townsend sits in the pocket. Really good blocking once again. Buys us enough time. Get us a first down by Devin Duvernay up to the 34. And we'll follow it up by going out with our own heavier set here. 2 tight ends to the top and Mike Evans. It will be a play action pass. Quick pass, across the middle, caught. Mike Evans gets us almost to midfield, maybe a little bit past midfield. Or the opposite, a little bit shy of midfield. 1st and 10 either way, 2 up top, 1 to the bottom. Will be a run down the middle here by Spiller trying to find some space. Will be about 4 or 5 yards. Actually 6. Interesting. Definitely looked like more like 4 or 5, but I'll take 6. And maybe enough time for one more play if we could get the snap off. No, we don't. So we'll head into the second quarter here with a tied game. We're still in our first possession on offense. So we're definitely taking this one a little bit slower, a little bit more methodical. We did start back at our own 3 though, so we've already covered about 50 yards. Stretch up to the top. Fred Warner not quite going to get there for a loss, but does manage to keep it just a gain of 2. So on 3rd and 2, we'll head out with trips to the top. Samson the tight end just off the line to the bottom. Will be a read option that got swallowed up. Will be 4th and 4, but I want to go for it. Again, this is a game that we must win. They're 1 game up on us already, and we've been struggling to keep along with the rest of our division. Samson will get the grab, turn up, get the first down, dip out of bounds at the 34. And we'll jump right back to the broadcast view for an empty look. Trips up top, 2 stacked to the bottom. Townsend sitting in the pocket. We pick up the pass rush really well. Just need to find someone open, but apparently no one can. Thibodeau will get the sack. That's almost the same problem we have on defense, just switched. Their DBs covered up everyone and allowed the sack rather than our D-line not getting back there and allowing the DBs to get burned. We also then lose some yards on the very next play. So 3rd and 20 at the 44. After we went for it on 4th down to keep the drive alive, we're going to need a big play here. And a inaccurate dump off is not one of those plays. And we're going to kick a field goal here. This would be about a 61-yarder for Justin Tucker. Fingers crossed as that one is up and has the distance. I think he just hit that 61-yarder right down the middle. We'll grab a lead. Or not. The ball apparently went just wide left, so nothing for us as they are already into field goal range on 1 play. Well, how the turntables. If you get the reference, comment below. But 1st and 10 here for the Titans. Coming out with a heavy I formation, stretch to the top. Josh Jacobs has the corner, and we'll get close to the first, about 9.5 yards. 5 minutes here left in the second quarter. They come out with a strong I formation. Hard count, no one jumps. Hand it right back off to Josh Jacobs with all the running room down inside the 5. Finally dropped by Wilson at the 3. So they'll follow up with the same formation that had that stretch on with the first, or I guess second play of this drive. Going to send Gesicki in motion as a little bit of a trap play. Read well by Mathis, cleaned up by Bernard. No, 27. Is that Lennon? Honestly, I have no idea who 27 is. Either way, it's a tackle, and I'm going to take it. 27, that's Woolen. 2nd and goal will be a handoff down the middle. Another stop there by Mathis. Now 3rd and goal. They'll spread. Twins either side. The backup running back standing next to... Honestly, I can't remember who their quarterback is. Whoever it is, he's throwing pretty accurate passes like that one to Gesicki. For the first points in this game, Titans take the lead. Well, offense, it's time to kick things in gear. We need some points, as we do at least get the first down there. 13 yards here goes to Eric Ezukanma. Pass thrown away as we're standing at about midfield. 5-yard rush by Spiller as we hit the 2-minute warning. And don't get anything and then punt. I really love when it does that. Mike Gesicki, 16 yards. I would have gone for it on 4th and 5 if I knew it was 4th down. Another 14 yards Gesicki. Thrown away Zach Wilson. We have about a minute left. Another throwaway, 3rd and 10. Pass dropped by Campbell. They will be forced to punt. And we'll be starting deep in our own territory. At the 3-yard line. Empty set. Can we hold up long enough to get a pass off here? Across the middle we're going to go. Gray with the grab. Can't quite get by Fred Warner. We have all 3 timeouts. Less than a minute on the clock. Try to set up a screen here, perhaps. See if we can get some blocks. We do. Eric, get to the outside. Got to put on those burners. We'll get the first down, but we're still only up to the 14. 40 seconds left on the clock. Duvernay going deep. Going to have Evans crossing, and then I think it was Eric on a deep in. As we do have Mike Evans on the run. That pass was awful. I even told him to stop and set his feet, but I think he kept on moving. Either way, gonna move on to a new play. 2nd and 10. We're gonna roll out to one side, chuck this thing deep, underthrown. At least the linebacker couldn't adjust to it. So 3rd and 10. Same formation, trips to the left, one to the right is Sampson. Have a couple guys going on some corner routes. Can we find Sampson? Yes, we can. What a grab. Calling a timeout. We still have 2 more. Single high safety as they come out with a double A gap. Will they bring the blitz? No, they drop back into coverage. We'll go underneath here. Sampson will get the grab. He won't get out of bounds. We'll have to call our 2nd timeout. Maybe the switch route here on the outside. Get Duvernay down the sideline. Azukanma will be on a deep post route. Not much opening up here. Can Eric get the positioning? No, we'll at least throw it in his vicinity, but no one could get to it. 3rd and 3. At least need a 1st down here to keep this possession going. Or we try to loft it up down the seam. Duvernay can't get to it. 4 seconds left. Might as well go for it. Come out in Hail Mary attempt. Everyone going towards the middle. We'll see if the line can hold blocks long enough to allow everyone down there. A flag already down, so it doesn't quite matter. Probably holding. Toss this one up. Comes up short. Looks like we'll be headed into half. Now, luckily, we do start with the ball, and Duvernay already gets us 17 yards as we get 8 more here from Spiller up to midfield. Convert with the 1st down with a short run. We then lose 2 in the following play, but get 19 back with Spiller, so all good. As we get close to the red zone here, 2nd and 6, down to the 5. We'll go ahead and just keep on clicking as Daniil Hunter. Sack, making it 2nd and goal from the 14. Pass knocked away. 3rd and goal. 5 yards. We're definitely going for it. Again, we need to win this game. Let's shorten the route here from Evans. Actually have him go a little bit more towards the corner. And that looks like where we're going to go. That pass came up well short. That should have been about midway at best, at worst, actually, in the end zone. I don't know. The team just doesn't seem to want to win. So we'll just keep on simming through here and seeing if someone will make a play. A penalty. The only people making plays right now is the offensive line of the other team with holding plays. They're jumping off sides. The only thing that's working for us right now. I don't know what's wrong with this team. We have the best possible players out there for the most part. And they're just not getting the job done. Allen gets him inside the red zone. Pass thrown away here, Zach Wilson. 5 more yards, setting up 3rd and 5. But at least we'll stand strong in the red zone. Just kidding. We give it up on 4th down. 3 more yards, gets him inside the 5, down to the 1 to start the 4th quarter, and touchdown for Kyron Williams. But can our offense find a way to get back into it? Down 14-0, knocked away by Gillespie. Pass thrown away, 3rd and 10. Eric comes up big. 1st down keeps this game alive. Mike Evans converts. As Duvernay gets a little bit. Gonna have a short rush, setting up 3rd and 1, and we don't convert. But we're going for it. If Madden was correct, they were gonna go for it anyway. I'm just ensuring we do. With a short run by Beck, who fumbles the ball. And McNeil recovers. Tennessee Titans take over. Just nothing going our way as Josh Jacobs caps it off with a 59-yard touchdown. 1-play touchdown drive. They're up 21-0. Fred Warner luckily jumps off sides, or actually no, looks like it was probably a pass interference as we're a lot further downfield. We'll convert on that 3rd down, but we need 3 touchdowns in under about 4 minutes. So unless we put something amazing together very quickly, it's not looking like it's going to happen. 4th and 1, we lose 3 yards, another turnover on downs, still with 0 points on the board through almost an entire game, or at least forcing them back here on this drive. 4th and 15, we get something. Sack by Thibodeau, of course. Another sack to Daniil Hunter. 3rd and 24, we throw the ball away. 4th and 24, we punt. 2 minutes left on this clock. We'll just quickly get on out of this game. And that might be the nail in the coffin for this season. So let's do some simming. And after that awful game against the Titans, we put together a pretty nice streak of games, winning 3 of 4, including a 27-21 victory over the Vikings, the 27-21 loss against the Raiders, 23-20 win against the Bears, and 31-24 win over the Dolphins. These have kept our season alive. We're still in third place, but only 1.5 games back. So the playoffs are not out of reach. We'll take a quick view at these games to see roughly what happened, and it looked like in this game we just scored more points more consistently. Player stat wise, decent day here for Mitchell Townsend, only 1 touchdown. He threw 60% completion. We did pick off Mahomes twice and allowed less than 60% completion. Spiller, okay day. Pretty good game from Jeff Wilson, at least with the 2 rushing touchdowns. Mahomes did run one in, but we did a pretty good job of stopping any running game that they had. Receiving game-wise, Eric Ezukanma led us there with only 60 yards on 6 catches, but did have a touchdown. And Tariq Woolen led us in tackles with 6. We had some tackles for a loss. And by some, I mean really just a sum, 6, led by Michael Clemens with 2. But we did have a multiple sack day by Charles Omenihu. Ed Oliver also had 1. And the 2 players to pick off Mahomes was Daniel Mathis and Tariq Woolen. The Raiders game was primarily just them scoring a lot more consistently. It actually went into overtime, but they just played more consistent throughout and walked the game off. Pretty decent game for both quarterbacks here. Herbert almost threw for 400 yards, though 3 touchdowns, 1 interception for him. Townsend, 270, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And completion percentage, solid for us, okay, a little bad for Justin Herbert. But we actually both threw for the same amount of attempts, being 40, so that's interesting. And apparently Craig Richards, our backup quarterback, threw 1s. Rushing game-wise, solid day from Spiller. Same for Dameon Pierce. But it was them who had the rushing touchdown with Samaje Perine. And John Mechie went off in this game. 147 yards, 3 touchdowns. We did have 1 touchdown for Duvernay with 130 yards. Conklin had a lot of yards on us. Waddle, pretty solid game. Mike Evans had 2 touchdowns on 4 catches for 50 yards. And no one else got any other touchdowns. Defensively, Bernard led us in tackles with 10. He also had 2 tackles for a loss, which is tied for first with John Franklin-Meyers. We also had a few other guys with 1. And we did have a few sacks. Charles Omenihu with 1, Clemens with 1, and then Franklin-Meyers and Lennon split. But it was Bernard who also had an interception in this game, so he's probably the best player on defense. In the Bears game, it looks like it came through a 4th quarter comeback where we scored 13, I'm going to say unanswered points. Actually, there's definitely unanswered points. Solid day here from Mitchell Townsend, 273, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Did a pretty solid job against Hugh Webb, who was another possible quarterback that we could have went after, but he was out of SMU, less than 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. We sacked him twice, but we were also sacked 4 times. Completion percentage, solid for us, not good for Hugh Webb. Rushing game, pretty good game for Kenneth Walker, who averaged 5.3 yards a carry. Okay from Spiller. Receiving game-wise, Devin Duvernay, solid game. Sampson was the one with the touchdown grab, as well as Evans. And it looks like their touchdown grab went to Quentin Hayden, a second-year player. Daniel Mathis led us with tackles with 9. We have at least 1 tackle for loss. We only managed 3 at Oliver, JT Woods, and Poona Ford. But we at least had 2 sacks, 1 by Bernard, and then split between Mathis and Clemens. And the interception went to Donovan Wilson. And for the Dolphins game, pretty solid game throughout. And it just seems like we scored more earlier on. They scored a little bit later, but just couldn't come back. It was a 1-score game at the end. Deshaun Watson, solid game. All right game here from Mitchell Townsend, about 250, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. We were not sacked. We did get 2 sacks. Completion percentage, not good for us, solid for Watson. Pretty good game here from Isaiah Spiller, probably his best, averaging 5.3 yards. Did have a touchdown, hit the century mark exactly. And we did a really good job of locking down Tony Pollard as well. However, their backup got a touchdown in Brian Robinson Jr. Townsend ran the ball in for a touchdown, and so did Jeff Wilson. And our best receiver, Devin Duvernay, with 76 yards and a touchdown. Very similar stat line for Eric Ezukanma, just without the touchdown. And Donovan Wilson led us in tackles. We have a few tackles for a loss. One for Drummond, Mathis, Oliver, Bernard, and Franklin-Meyers. And Ed Oliver and Omenahu got the sacks. But as mentioned, that leaves us about one game behind. The Colts, I know we lost to, I'm pretty sure we lost to earlier in the season. So really 1.5 games behind them. And the Titans have beat us both times this season. So really 2 games back. There's 3 games left. We'll watch a little bit of this Lions game, and that will determine if this season can make it to the playoffs or if we cannot. Because if we don't win our division, I really don't see a way that we make it into the playoffs. Unless we win out, we still will need some help from the Titans losing and the Colts losing. But let's jump into this one. And with us being pretty close to the hour mark already, we're going to start with some quicker sim in this game and see if we have a shot at winning. Probably sim through most of the first half, see what the score looks like, and go from there. A sack here by Poona Ford is nice until we give up 29 yards right after to Marcus German. Looks like the Lions will be scoring first with a Javonte Williams touchdown. Do we answer back quickly on offense? That drive took less than 3 minutes. Let's see if our drive can top that. Spiller with 5. Spiller with 5 again. We cross midfield with Mike Evans. 2nd and 3. 5 yards against Spiller, and an interception goes to Bernard James. So, not a great start. Already down 7 points with them getting inside the red zone on a 9-yard rush by Amon-Ra St. Brown. Touchdown. So, we're down 14 points within 1 quarter. Not the greatest start, considering this is a game that is almost entirely a must-win situation. Penalties not helping out 3rd and 14 as we throw the ball away. Still down 2 scores, haven't been able to move the ball much at all. Penalty will back them up until they get the first down on the very next play once again by Marcus German. Interception though, Christian Drummond keeping our season alive here. Isaiah Spiller followed up with a 4-yard gain, 10 yards Eric Ezukanma. Another 4-yard this time, Mitchell Townsend. 11 yards, Isaiah Spiller. Gets us inside the red zone. 2nd and 7. Down to the 2. 3rd and 1. Spiller gets us on the board. But can the defense stand tall? Something they really haven't done a whole lot besides that interception. Speaking of which, 2 on the day for Christian Drummond. As we're already back inside the red zone, looking to tie this thing up. Wilson. Yes, Wilson does tie it up with the extra point from Justin Tucker. Okay, so we erase the early game drama. Sack by Ed Oliver. Defense is feeling it. 11 yards Cedric Whitfield. They convert on 3rd down. Dalton Schultz gets the extra yard that was needed. Pass thrown away. Jalen Hurts 3rd and 6 thrown away. Do they actually punt? Looks like it. So we're doing pretty good so far. Able to erase some poor game earlier in the game. Mike Evans gets us up to midfield. Pass dropped by Mike Evans. 2.5 minutes left here in the first half. 3rd and 10. We almost get it. I want to make sure we do get it. Coming out here in pistol. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. We're going to switch this to run to the weak hand side, which looks like that was a good call. Spiller will break first contact. Not much else after that, but we'll convert, keep this thing going. And we'll go ahead and try to watch the remainder of this as we are inside the 2-minute warning. Trips up top, tight end just off the line to the bottom. With a deeper in route, Mike Evans gets the first down, gain of about 13 yards. And we'll follow it up by going under center. 2 tight end look to the top, 2 receivers down to the bottom. Will be a pass. Townsend sitting in the pocket, across the middle, caught. That's going to be Cousins with a first down to the 10. Sticking under center, 2 receivers to the bottom. Will be another drop back pass. Townsend will dump it off. Spiller will get inside the 5, down at the 3. After calling a timeout, 1:01 left on the clock before halftime. 2 receivers at the bottom, 1 up top. Shotgun look here with 2nd and goal. Pass to the back of the end zone. Not caught in bounds. Eric Ezukanma couldn't get that 2nd foot in. 3rd and goal. A heavy look for them as we go with a quick toss. Cousins with the grab, and we've taken our first lead in this game. Again, a much needed win. If we don't win, our season might be done. Now we just need our defense to hold on to that lead here. Less than a minute left before halftime. 3rd and 7. Dalton Schultz gets 28 yards. Thrown away by Hurts. About 30 seconds left, under 30 seconds now, 3rd and 10. Brandon Cooks with 15, about 10 seconds left. 17 yards down to the 11, and they hit the field goal. So we hold on to the lead, but they do tack on some points, making it 21-17 as we start the second half with the ball. Can our offense widen our lead here? Duvernay starts us off with 13, 4-yard rush by Townsend. He then throws away on 2nd down. 3rd and 6, another throwaway. I feel like it would be too risky to go for it here. We will punt away. Defense, how do you start off? 3-yard gain followed by a 7-yard gain. 3rd and inches. Dalton Schultz shows up again. 17 yards. 21 more yards, Dalton Schultz, and he only gets a 1-year deal for $9 million. 2nd and 5 thrown away. 3rd and 5. 16 yards, Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're now inside the 15, thrown away by Jalen Hurts. Penalty on Ed Oliver. 2nd and 5, touchdown. They retake the lead. All right, offense, we got to answer back pretty quickly here. After a really bad first possession, much better play here. 18 yards, Devin Duvernay. We just need to complete these drives. We've gotten yards, but just stall out. 1st and 10, a penalty on Rashawn Ellison, not going to help. Holding, well, at least get those 10 yards back. 2nd and 10, pass thrown away. 3rd and 10, Isaiah Spiller gets 13. That keeps the drive alive as we move inside the 25. Pass knocked away by James Fox. 3rd and 4, thrown away. We're going for it. Or should we take the field goal and tie? That's probably the smarter thing to do. 4th and 4, game tied 24-24. Now defense, come on, we need you here. Or not. 75-yard touchdown rush, Javonte Williams. So offense, once again, we have to ask you to come through for us. A 1-yard rush by Townsend. 2nd and 9, 6-yard rush, Spiller. 3rd and 2, Spiller converts with 7. Sack by Eric Armstead. 2nd and 14, throwaway by Townsend. As we start the 4th quarter with 4th and 14, we should punt this one away. We just need our defense to make a play here for us. We had 2 interceptions by Drummond in the first quarter. We need some here. 69-yard touchdown, Amon-Ra St. Brown. We're now down 2 possessions, 7 minutes left in this game. Offense, we need a quick score. 2 yards is not going to cut it. Duvernay with 11. 1-yard rush, definitely not going to cut it. 9 yards still sets up a 3rd and short. We at least convert. A little under 6 minutes left. Down 2 possessions. 19 there by Eric. Gets us inside the 30. Inside the 15 by Sampson. 1st and 10. 5-yard gain. Eric. 2nd and 5. 6-yard rush. 1st and 1. Beck with the touchdown. Defense has to get a stop here. And with this being such a monumental drive, we will watch. 2 receiver stack either side. Hurts and pistol. Get the snap sitting in the pocket. No rush. We'll easily find Amon-Ra St. Brown. We'll give him another first. 4 minutes left on this clock. We're down 1 touchdown. And that would just tie as they will find another guy across the middle. Number 5 with the grab. Jalen Hurts, 21 of 32 on the day. Since his early first half turnovers has been solid ever since. 2nd and 3, 2 receivers down to the bottom, 1 up top. They'll hand this one off down the middle. Javonte Williams will get the first down fighting through Bernard. He's had a phenomenal day. I think 10 rushes, 125 yards, 3 touchdowns. This is his time to shine, to run out this clock as we come out with a double A gap look. We'll drop back into coverage. Hurts going down towards the sideline. Amon-Ra St. Brown doing very well. He's had a really good game today. It's looking more like the defense is going to have to force a splash play. A turnover might be needed as we approach the 2-minute warning. Do they snap the ball? Yes. Quick throw across the middle. Dalton Schultz with a first down, and that will move us inside the 2 minutes. The crowd just dead silent here as they're watching their Texans season possibly come to an end. Handoff down the middle. Javonte Williams gets by the first defender down to the 5. Timeout starting to be called. 1:54 on the clock. We have 2 timeouts remain. Down 7, and they're at the 5. Javonte Williams with some room. down to the 1. Coming out with the strong eye. A touchdown here just about ends our season. Wilson is in. We're down 2 possessions, about a minute and a half left on the clock. We needed three victories to win this conference, and that's with help of the Titans losing, and they're currently up against the Colts. So this is looking like it's about done. About the only thing we can hope for is like a 2-play touchdown. No, it's 2 throwaways. Third and another throwaway. 4th in season, throw away. I don't know of a better way to describe what this season was besides throwaway on 4th and 10 in a game we had to win to possibly make the playoffs with some luck on our side. And we will finish off splitting the last 2 games, a 24-10 loss against the Jaguars, who were bottom of our division, but then winning against the Colts 31-17, who were just above us in division. We end up ending at 8-9, under 500, and this team just, I don't know, they can't seem to get out of their own way. We'll finish off by looking at the stats, so we'll jump over there. And I think this next season will be season 4. We've never had one of these challenges go into season 5. We also had the 32nd ranked offense, 12th ranked defense. But I've never had any of these state-only challenges actually have to go into a season 5. And for a rookie quarterback, Mitchell Townsend played really well. 4,233 passing yards, had 30 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and he completed 62% of his passes. Would like to see that a little bit closer to 68, but still not bad. He was also sacked 36 times, so he was sacked a lot. Rushing-wise, Isaiah Spiller, and this was also switching to a much more pass-heavy offense. His stats are not far off of what we saw from Aaron Jones. So I think that trade was fine. I don't think that's the reason why we struggled this year. I think he actually played really well and played pretty well in the passing game. 942 yards, averaged 3.8 yards a carry, 6 touchdowns. Townsend had 2 rushing touchdowns, so he had 32 total touchdowns this season with 5 total turnovers because he didn't fumble, not even once, which is kind of surprising for a quarterback. Jeff Wilson had 9 rushing touchdowns, and Andrew Ali had 2. Receiving-wise, Devin Duvernay over 1,000 yards, over 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. Mike Evans, 912 with 8 touchdowns. And the next up was the rookie tight end Marquise Sampson with 820 touchdowns, only 2 touchdowns, 825 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Ekuzama, 781 yards, 3 touchdowns. As a number 3 receiver, that is really good. Like, that is more than what you, I don't want to say more than what you need, but that is still really good stats for a number 3 guy. I don't think the receiving group is a reason why this team is struggling. Like I said, these are good numbers. For your top 4 targets all having about 800 plus yards, that is really good. Spiller had another 266, so in total he had 1,000 plus yards from scrimmage and had, 7 touchdowns in total? Yeah, 7 touchdowns in total. Danny Gray didn't really see the field that often. We did include him about halfway through the season. He was he was next up in both outside receiver as well as slot receiver. He has some good ratings. We'll see if we could get him out there, but I just don't think the receiving group is the reason. Obviously, we could go after a guy like Christian Kirk, who's going to be a higher overall, but I really don't think we need it. You rarely have 3,000-yard receivers. Like, these are the same stats you're going to see, even if we had 2 receivers 85 plus overall, because I'm assuming Mike Evans will regress a little bit. Hopefully he doesn't retire. If he does, then a trade for Christian Kirk might be needed. But I just don't think it's the receiving group. Blocking-wise, not a great year for Jake Matthews. Allowed 14 sacks. Ellison was second at 9. 3 for Connor Williams and Will Hernandez. Steele only allowed 2. Now, AJ Boss, I know we don't know what his development rate actually is, but he did get an upgrade, and I saw an ability slot open up. That means he's at least a superstar. So AJ Boss didn't have a whole lot of playing time, only 76 plays, allowed 1 sack, versus Jake Matthews, who had about 10 times as many snaps, a little bit more, allowed 14. So even then, if you do the math, you're looking at maybe 11, 12 sacks given up by AJ Boss in comparison. So Jake Matthews, who also could possibly retire, he would be moving into his 11th season, or 12th season. This would be his 11th season. Maybe we trade, maybe he retires, and we have a guy already on roster that takes over. We might have some turnover come the offseason. Daniel Mathis led us in tackles, closely followed by Terrell Bernard, 112 and 107. Ed Oliver in his new role looks solid. 17 tackles for loss, closely followed by John Franklin-Meyers with 15. Mathis and Bernard both had 7. 6 for Drummond, Ford, and Omenahu, and then 3 for Woolen, Lynch, and Clemens. Clemens, we did have starting in the base packages as a right end, and I'm not seeing great stats here from him, so he might not keep that spot next year. Had 2 tackles for a loss for Lennon, Woods, Kohu, and Belfort, who really saw his role completely diminish after he didn't capitalize off of it in the first half of the season. Donovan Wilson, Amari McQueen, Matthew Adams, and Kingsley Kiki each had 1 tackle for a loss. Sack-wise, we're still looking for our first double-digit sack guy, but we at least have 3 that are pretty close. Omenahu leads us this year with 8.5, Oliver with 7, and John Franklin-Meyers with 7. Steep drop-off, because it's half. Terrell Bernard with 3, 2.5 for Michael Clemens, 1.5 for Mathis and Puna Ford, who I feel like his play dropped off this season. 1 sack for Christian Drummond, and then half a sack for Lennon, Kohu, and Belfort. Daniel Mathis actually led us in interceptions with 4, 3 for Donovan Wilson, 2 for Christian Drummond, both in that last watched game, and then 1 for Bernard, Kohu, and Tyreek Woolen. So that leaves us at the end of Season 3. We still haven't really seen any success. There's not what looks like a whole lot of talent in the upcoming draft class. We'll take one final look at the few guys that might be draftable. There is the left guard, Kenny Hardison, round 2 to 3, which we do have our second round pick. We don't have our first round pick because we traded that for John Franklin-Meyers. So we would have a second round pick. He's a large guy, 6'3", 340, 22 years old, out of A&M. Good motor, doesn't get flagged, solid. His physicals, we see good to great strength, good to great speed, so a really good athlete. His blocking ratings aren't too bad. He's definitely more of a power guy than a finesse guy, but fairly balanced in that aspect. He could possibly be a guy we pick up. Over on the defensive side, DT to be specific, Alex Garfield, 6'5", 298, 21 years old out of Texas Tech. Physical player, has a spin move, swift arm over, power, good motor, rips the ball from runners, and good discipline. So his player notes all look fantastic. Physicals, good to great speed, solid to good strength. Maybe he seems more like an outside guy. And even if that's the case, maybe John Franklin-Meyers also gets moved to DT and we just let Puna Ford go. I don't know. B finesse moves, B power moves, C block shedding, A play rec. So, I mean, there's some solid skill sets here for round 2 to 3. I would imagine we'd be picking maybe a little bit higher than a mid-round pick. I would assume 12, maybe 13 off the top of my head. Granted, again, we don't have the first round pick, so do the math to the second round. The middle linebackers, highly disappointed in. The best zone coverage is a C. That's not going to help us at all, so I'm not really too worried about trying to go after one of these guys. Again, we have the right outside linebacker who has the A zone coverage. I just don't trust outside linebackers. At corner, there is Troy Blaylock, and he seems okay. We don't need to go after corner. So in total, there are 2 guys in this entire draft class who I think we need to go after: Alex Garfield and then the left guard in Hardison. So that leaves us with a lot of picks. We might have to use them to trade up to secure those picks. That tells me we might have a pretty short offseason. So if that is the case, next episode might be an offseason combined with the first half of season 1. That way it's not like a 20-minute episode, because this series is more hour-long-ish. So, and speaking of that, I probably need to end this episode because we're getting pretty long on the recording. So that is the plan. Next episode will be the offseason. possibly as well the first half of season 1. So make sure you guys are subscribing. If you're watching on your phone, bear icon on the bottom right, tap it, you'll subscribe. If you're on your computer or tablet, or if it doesn't have the bear icon, just scroll down, hit the subscription button, and tap the bell icon so you're notified when the videos go live. 4 videos every week with 2 series. This one posted every Wednesday and Saturday. All my state-only challenges will be posted on Wednesday and Saturdays. And then the traditional franchises where I play every game, those are posted on Monday and Thursday. Currently doing the Commanders. So make sure you're hitting those buttons. Comment down below what you think this team needs to finally push us over 500 and to make it into the postseason. And until next time, where we'll have the offseason, or unless you're watching the Commanders episode tomorrow, we'll see you later. Bye.